Imagine this. It's the last minute of the Champions League final. The stadium is shaking, millions are watching, and one kid is about to take a penalty that will change history. You think he's thinking about the glory, the fans? Maybe. But I'm the guy who knows what he's really thinking. If I score this, my agent better get me that 20% bonus. That's me. I'm the guy in the shadows. The one who turns a kid who can kick a ball into a global brand that sells underwear, watches, and NFTs. Today, I'm taking you through every level of this game, from scouting kids in the rain to buying the clubs they play for. Welcome to my life. Welcome to Level 1. Here, your office isn't a skyscraper. It's a 2005 hatchback with a check engine light that's been on since the Obama administration. It's Saturday morning, 7 a.m. It's raining sideways. You're standing on the sidelines of a pitch that looks more like a swamp than a football field. You spend your days watching 10-year-olds chase a ball like a swarm of angry bees. 99% of the time, it's a complete waste of time. But then, you see him. Number 7. He doesn't just run, he glides. He sees a pass before anyone else. Your heart starts racing. That's not just a kid. That's your ticket out of this rusty car. Now comes the hard part, the parent pitch. You have to convince a skeptical dad, a guy shivering in a cheap raincoat, that you are the person to trust with his son's future. Sir, your son has a gift. I can get him into the top academies. I can change your family's life. The dad looks at you, looks at your car, and asks, "That's great, mate, but can you help me jumpstart my van? My battery is dead." You spend your nights studying FIFA regulations like they're the Holy Bible, praying you don't make a mistake that gets you banned. Your diet consists of gas station sandwiches and lukewarm coffee, and your social life is basically non-existent because you're always waiting for the phone to ring. You tell everyone you're expanding your portfolio, but your portfolio is currently one kid who wants to be a professional gamer instead. At this level, you aren't an agent. You're a scout, a driver, a psychologist, and a professional liar. You're living on cold pizza and hope. But you keep going because in this game, you only need to be right once. One signature on one piece of paper and everything changes. Congratulations! You finally moved up. Welcome to Level 2. You got hired by a real agency. You have a business card with a gold logo. You think you're a boss. You think you're Jerry Maguire. Wrong. You're a glorified nanny for 19-year-old millionaires. At this level, you don't negotiate transfers. You negotiate with landlords who want to evict your players for throwing wild parties. Your phone is your master. It never stops. It's 2:15 a.m. on a Wednesday. You're fast asleep. Then the phone vibrates. It's your star rookie. "Hey, I tried to cook a steak on my balcony using a flamethrower I bought online, and the fire department is here. Also, I don't have my passport for the flight at 6 a.m., and I think I lost my house keys in a taxi." You don't scream. You just grab your keys. You're the guy who fixes the unfixable. You're a professional fire extinguisher. You spend your days finding lost PlayStations and explaining to a teenager why he can't buy a gold-plated tank even if he really wants one. You become the player's best friend, his brother, and his bodyguard. If his girlfriend is mad at him, she calls you to complain. You're also the bag carrier. When your player arrives at a new club, you're the one walking 3 steps behind him. The cameras are flashing, the fans are screaming the player's name, and you're struggling not to trip over a suitcase. You're the invisible hand that keeps the chaos together. While the world sees the goal, you see the unpaid electricity bill in his apartment. You're earning a decent salary, maybe $8,000 a month, but you realize that you're just a tool in a much larger machine. You start attending the secret meetings. You sit in the corner of expensive restaurants listening to the senior agents. You hear them talk about tax structures, offshore accounts, and kickbacks, things they don't teach you in school. You realize that the real money isn't in the player's salary, it's in the agent fee. The millions clubs pay just for a phone call. You start to lose your innocence. You see how easy it is to leak a story to the press just to drive up a player's price. You're working 20 hours a day. Your phone is basically an extension of your hand. You haven't seen your family in months. You haven't had a real meal in days. You live on caffeine and the adrenaline of the next deal. But you don't care, because you've seen the top. You've seen the guys in level 3, the ones who don't carry bags. You're tired of being a nanny. You're tired of fixing Ferraris and fountains. You want to be the one who decides the future of the league. You're ready to stop being the help and start being the boss. But the higher you go, the deeper the water gets. Get ready. Because in level 3, the games are over. It's time to meet the real sharks. And in this ocean, if you stop swimming, you're dead. Welcome to Level 3. You've stopped carrying bags and started carrying weight. You don't work for an agency anymore. You are the agency. Your office is now a private suite in Mayfair or a yacht in Monaco. At this level, you don't wait for the phone to ring. You make the phone ring. You've mastered the art of the transfer saga. You know that a single photo of your player accidentally eating dinner in Madrid can add 10 million to his price tag by morning. This is the world of the super agent. You aren't just looking for talent, you're looking for leverage. You realize that clubs aren't just buying a player, they're buying hope, and hope is expensive. You spend your days playing chess with billionaires. You tell the president of a club that your player is very happy where he is, while your assistant is already leaking to the press that he's heartbroken and looking for a new challenge. You learn about the image rights, the secret gold mine. You negotiate how much the club pays your player just to use his face on a lunchbox or a video game. Sometimes the image rights are more complicated than the actual contract. You're no longer a babysitter. You're a ghostwriter of destinies. You're earning $50,000 a week in commissions, and you finally bought that Ferrari. But you don't drive it to fountains. You drive it to secret meetings in underground parking lots where the real deals are made with a handshake and a non-disclosure agreement. But then you reach level 4, the kingmaker. At this level, you don't just transfer players, you move the entire market. You represent 50 of the top players in the world. If you decide to move your star striker, it creates a domino effect that forces 5 other clubs to spend hundreds of millions. You are the architect of the deadline day madness. You sit in a room with a wall of screens watching the clock tick down to midnight, knowing that you just made more money in the last 6 hours than most people make in a lifetime. At level 4, you are more powerful than most club owners. You can get a manager fired with one text message. You can bankrupt a small club by demanding a loyalty bonus for a player who hasn't been loyal for a single day. You don't even watch the games anymore. Why would you? You already know the outcome of the transfer window, and that's the only scoreboard that matters. You've reached the top. You own the private jet. You own the penthouse. You might even own a small club in Belgium just to use it as a laundry for young talents you scouted in level 1. You are the invisible king of the most popular sport on Earth. But remember what I told you about the ocean? The sharks at the top don't just bite, they never sleep. You have everything you ever wanted, but you realize that the higher you climb, the lonelier the view is. But hey, it's easier to cry when you're sitting in a customized private jet, right? Welcome to the elite. Try not to fall. So, you think level 4 was the peak? Think again. Welcome to level 5, the entity. At this point, you don't even have a name anymore. You are a shadow that moves nations. You don't just represent players, you consult for governments on how to host World Cups. You own 3 different clubs through offshore shell companies, and nobody can prove it. You don't care about the transfer fee because you own the bank that processes the transfer. But here's the cold truth of the game. At level 5, you realize that players are just temporary icons, but the system is forever. You've become the architect of the very matrix you used to be a victim of. You've traded your soul for a seat at a table where the only language spoken is compound interest. Was it worth the rainy Saturdays and the flamethrower accidents? You look at the mirror and you don't see the kid in the 2005 hatchback anymore. You see a legend, a ghost in the machine. You've won the game, but the game never ends. It just gets more expensive. So the next time you see a teenager scoring a goal on TV and kissing the badge of his shirt, look closely. Because somewhere in the VIP box, there's someone like me smiling and checking their bank balance. If you want to know the secrets of the other industries that run this world, stay tuned. This is just the beginning of your climb to the top. Don't forget to follow the journey, or you'll stay stuck in level 1 forever. Thanks for watching. Now, I have a call from Qatar I need to take. See you at the top.